Welcome to i30N Owner, the YouTube channel where I share my experiences with the Hyundai i30N and talk more generally about Hyundai's growing N-Car lineup. And on that topic of a growing N-Car lineup, in today's video, which is a little bit of a departure from what I've done to date, I'm going to be looking at doing more news-related videos on the Hyundai N-Car lineup in general. Keen to hear your thoughts on that, leave a comment in the comments section. I'll obviously keep doing my opinion and review videos and sharing my ownership experience as well. But in terms of the growing N-Car lineup, in fact, in Europe, the N-Car lineup is going to be shrinking because Hyundai have announced that they are going to cease selling petrol-powered Hyundai N vehicles in Europe, in the European market, basically this year. So by the end of 2024, you won't be able to get a petrol-powered Hyundai N car anymore in the European market. Hyundai Germany released this information. They stated that Hyundai Motor has decided to cease production of ICE N models for the European market during the first half of the year. This follows the brand's commitment to offer European customers a zero-emission product range by 2035 and to be 100% carbon neutral in all phases of car production and operation by 2045. In Germany, versions of the i20N and i30N are still shown on the configurator on Hyundai.de and will continue to be available in dealerships this year until probably the end of the year, depending on numbers available in stock. So long story short, if you are in the European market and you want to get an i30N or an i20N, you want to act quickly, you probably need to look to purchase something that is already in stock because getting a custom configured model may be easier said than done. And look, this decision is not unsurprising, particularly when you consider that Europe tends to sit a little bit more at the forefront of environmental laws and they tend to push this thing harder compared to some other markets. It's a disappointing outcome for ICE N-Car enthusiasts such as myself. At the end of the day, the N-Car lineup in Europe is a very small percentage of Hyundai's sales. Most people go and buy hybrids or EVs or less polluting, more economical vehicles anyway. The N-Cars have always been enthusiast performance vehicles, sold in small numbers, low volume. It's debatable, arguable what their kind of impact is from an emissions perspective and a pollution perspective. But at the end of the day, I can also understand if legislation and taxation and other rules basically make it uneconomical for a brand like Hyundai to continue selling that type of vehicle into a given market. This is going to pan out across other brands as well, and we've seen, all sorts of legacy ICE car makers really modifying their product range. Even looking at brands like Mercedes-Benz with their AMG cars, shrinking the size of the engines, adding more turbocharging, adding more electrification to what was once the sort of pinnacle, perhaps, of petrol-powered motoring. And so while European enthusiasts are going to lose petrol-powered N models, there will still be electrified N cars such as the Ioniq 5N, which are exciting nonetheless. There's a rumoured Ioniq 6N as well, and this development really reflects a broader trend in the automotive industry. Manufacturers are sort of pivoting towards electrified and hybrid vehicles, away from internal combustion engines. This is being driven both from a legislation perspective, so basically it's becoming harder to sell non-hybrid, non-EV vehicles, and then also it's being driven from a consumer end as well because people want to save money on petrol, they want to reduce their emissions. The performance petrol-powered or ICE-powered market is a very small slice of the pie these days, and so it kind of makes sense from a business perspective, but obviously it's frustrating from an enthusiast perspective. And so if you are a European Hyundai N-Car enthusiast, you've been on the fence about buying an i30N, you've been on the fence about buying an i20N, I would go out and try and start that purchasing process sooner rather than later, or else you're probably going to have to start looking at second-hand options from later in the year onwards. Keen to hear your take on this. Do you think that Hyundai should stop selling petrol-powered N cars in Europe? What do you think is going to happen in your local market if you're based outside of Europe? Really keen to hear your take. Also keen to hear your take on news articles on this channel as well, or news videos I should say. Leave a comment below. Like this video if you found it interesting, subscribe for more i30N and Hyundai N car content, and I'll see you next time.